Hello, everyone. My name is Lawrence, and I'm a librarian with LA County Library, and I welcome you to explore note-taking apps. Before we get going with today's event, I'd like to take care of some housekeeping. If you can hear me and see the slide up on the screen, then you are good to go. However, if you have trouble hearing me or seeing the slide up on the screen, do let me know in the chat, and I will do my best to assist. If you would like to listen to this presentation on the phone, you can do that by calling 1-669-900-6833 and using the access code 856-9205-3603 and passcode 123123. You may have noticed the mics and video are disabled for attendees, and that is so everyone can focus on the presentation. We do, however, welcome your questions and comments. Questions should go into the Q&A, and comments can go in the chat. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you about our next digital literacy event, and that is data storage options on September 28th, 2023. When it comes to saving valuable virtual documents, images, and videos, there are several options to help you safely store and retrieve your files with ease. Join us as we discuss cloud storage, hard drives, and best practices. And I will post the link to that in our chat right now. Go ahead and register. It's free, as are all of our library programs. So give me 1 second. Okay, so that is posted in the chat. And if you would like to learn more about our virtual or in-person events, head on over to lacountylibrary.org and click the events link at the upper right-hand side of the webpage. With that out of the way, let's get on to today's event. Again, welcome to Explore Note-Taking Apps. We'll be taking a look at a ton of cool note-taking apps, one of which will hopefully be the right one for you. So if you have any questions or comments, again, please post them in the Q&A or chat, and I will do my best to answer them during our Q&A at the end of the program. And for access to more cool programs, books, resources, and more, you can visit lacountylibrary.org or find us on social media with the handle at LA County Library, or on Facebook, X, Instagram, and more at LA County Library. So be sure to check us out there. Okay, so here's the description for our program today. Computers and smartphones are excellent note-taking devices. Whether you need a to-do list, a way to store recipes, or want to take notes on what you're reading, productivity apps can help. Join us as we explore their ins and outs. So first, I want to get a grasp of what you all are already using, if you are, to write down your ideas, lists, and reminders. Please post them in the chat. I'd like to see if you're already using some of the cool apps that we'll be covering. Ooh, Rocketbook. I see Things, Paper, and Post-its. Yep, those are old reliables. iNotes, Google Notes, scraps of paper. Tried Evernote, doesn't work the way they like. Google Keep, okay. So I see a lot of Google Keep, Evernote, iPhone notes. All right, so it looks like some of you already have some experience with some of the apps that I'll be covering. But hopefully I'll be covering quite a few apps. So hopefully there will be some alternatives that you can explore. And I see a lot of people are putting, regular pens, paper, Post-it notes. Those won't go away anytime soon. But I find that note-taking apps are a good supplement to, again, Post-it notes or pen and paper. Awesome. It's a great response from you guys today. So let's move on. So we've got note-taking apps. So you can level up your note-taking prowess when you use the latest note-taking apps to write notes, to integrate lists, pictures, or itineraries, birthdays, and more into your organizational processes. So I think we can all agree that there's nothing quite as convenient as having a handy pen or pencil and a piece of paper and just jotting down your ideas or drawing something. It's very versatile, and you can immediately put your thoughts whether they're words or pictures or charts in between, immediately to paper. You don't have to fiddle around with your device or anything like that. But there are some advantages to using note-taking apps. So, you know, before we had all this technology available at our fingertips, your notes might have looked something like this. So what are some advantages to using note-taking apps? Well, it's relatively quick and easy because most of us are pretty familiar with our smartphone interfaces, whether that's an Apple or Android or something else. We've become pretty good at navigating through and accessing apps and everything. So having that is like having a personal log where you can look up anything you might have ever recorded, whether that's like hundreds of pages of notes or just a quick one-off that you jotted down. You can have that accessible on your personal device. And the cool thing about many of these note-taking apps is that they are actually accessible from multiple devices. So if you link those accounts, you can potentially jot down a note on your phone, on your smartphone, and then later when you're working on your laptop or desktop or on your tablet, you can very easily pull up that same note and continue working on it from another device. And sometimes, you know, that's very convenient if you say, for example, if you forget one of your devices, you can still access those notes on another device or even from a web browser for some of these apps. So they are very customizable as well. Besides syncing across multiple devices, they can capture pictures. So they can save pictures that you've taken on your smartphone, and you can insert that picture or image directly into your notes-based app. And that's one of the major advantages that I find much better than just having over paper or Post-its, because you can just take a snapshot of a website, or you can take a picture of a product or something you want to remember and just put it in that note-taking app, and it's good to go. Another thing, it can record, it can do audio recordings as well for a lot of these apps. So again, if you wanted to record a snippet of music, or if you wanted to record you know, an interaction or conversation, you can do so and save it to your notes so that you can refer to it later. And they're very personal as well. So you can include things like to-do lists, instructions. The useful applications are varied and almost endless. And they're shareable as well. So you can easily share your notes, whether through email or converting it into like a text document or PDF. You can very easily share that with other people, especially if you want to collaborate with them on something, or just send them that cool snippet that you recorded. You can also do so just by sending it directly to their device. And another cool feature is that all of these note-taking apps are either absolutely free for some of them, or they have a free version that you can try out. So they're all accessible, and you can try them out, try all of them out to find the one that fits what your needs are. And also, it's paperless. So if you find yourself writing down a lot of notes or crossing out and redoing a lot of notes, that can maybe help save paper clutter or paper waste. And not suggesting that it's a replacement, but it's a really good supplement to physical notes. They each have their place for most of our needs, and you know, it's up to our own personal preferences whether we use more or more of each. Okay, so you know, back to before, we have our paper notes here, It's a pretty detailed notes about fingerprints. And if we take these notes and digitize them, a digitized version can look something like this. So afterwards, again, it can be clearer because you're looking at it on a decently high resolution screen. You can change the color of the background depending on your phone. And also, you can zoom in closer to make the text bigger or smaller depending on your personal preference. And also, besides just the text, you can also add cool things like screenshots from websites or images or even pictures of people's individual fingerprints, which would be very hard to record if you were just doing it on a pen and paper. At the very least, it would take quite some more time to have all of that recorded versus putting it all together in a virtual note document. All right, so here are some of the topics that we're going to cover. Going to cover multiple apps throughout this presentation. We're going to take a look at apps that you can access through a browser, that you can access on your mobile devices. All right, so there's quite a few apps, and most of them do have some sort of browser-based component, or they're installed by default on your phones, whether that's the Android or Apple ecosystems, or they're available to download on their various app stores. Okay, so to choose the best app, you want to ask yourself a couple questions. What are you using the app for? Are you using it for school or for work or just for personal use? Do you want to just use it solo, or do you value more collaborative features? Are you just looking for a simple note-taking app? Or do you want more advanced features, like let's say image to text recognition, or the ability to, let's say, just simply draw on the note itself, or sharing options, what have you. And do you want access across multiple devices? And also, is it cost effective? Are you willing to pay for some of these features? Because some of these apps do have features hidden behind paywalls, which make them not as great cost-effective options. Okay, so here's some of the different types of note-taking. So just for regular notes, especially if you're doing homework or research for work projects, that's when we all took notes in school, or just want to jot down ideas. If you have inspiration for a project or just for a hobby, you can definitely just record that down. There's journals if you want to keep a record of regular activities, or even things like recipes or budgeting. And then there's also a lot of lists as well. So we have to-do lists, we have assignments, grocery lists, reading lists, gift lists, suitcase, and also if you're moving as well, lists are very important for those and more. Then we have reminders. So we want to be reminded of people's birthdays, of paying bills, maintenance costs, for your automobile or for your home, and also for health checkups, whether that's with a dentist or doctor, get your regular checkups. You can also use note-taking apps for those as well. All right, so there's a couple different types of note-taking services, including some that are browser-based, some that are pre-installed on a smartphone or computer, or that are available for download. And this is a quick preview of some of them. You can see the icons on the interface, and we'll cover most of them. All right, so first we've got Notes on a web browser. So for the browser-based options, there's Google Keep and there's Microsoft OneNote. And one important thing to note about this is that if you use Gmail or if you use Microsoft Outlook, then it's very easy to access Keep and OneNote straight from the email interfaces because they're also integrated with those interfaces as well. So here's Google Keep. Again, if you are on Gmail and you open up this menu on the side, it's possible that you might already have Keep as one of these options next to, like, say, your calendar or your tasks on the side of your Gmail. And so you can access that just by clicking on the Keep icon. But if you do want to add it to your Gmail or your Google account, you can always just use that small plus button at the bottom of this list, and then you can just add it on Google Marketplace if you don't already have it. But the icon for Keep is the light bulb on the orange yellow background there. So if you see that, you're good to go for Keep access. Okay, so here's Google Keep on a browser interface. So you can see it's a very simplified note-taking system. It's sort of meant to be a bridge between your Gmail and your Google Docs. So it's meant as sort of a landing place for ideas, maybe from your email or maybe from websites where you can sort of rearrange those ideas and information into something more that you can put on to your Google Docs. So that being said, it's got more simplified interface. So you can do things like creating labels. You can put in like a checkmark list, and you can also extract text from images. So that's a pretty big one. So for a lot of these note-taking apps, extracting text from images is really cool because you can basically just use your you can basically take a picture of text, and inside these apps, for some of them, you can basically copy and paste the text from the images. You can copy that text and paste it over into a rich text format, so that you can basically start manipulating that text on your documents. So that's a really cool feature. I definitely recommend you check that out if you haven't already. You can put in reminders. And again, Google Keep is accessible through Gmail and the Google Apps ecosystem. So again, it's meant to be sort of a bridge between Gmail and Google Docs. However, they do lack some features. So there's no rich text formatting, which means that, like, there's no fonts. That you can't really change the font or style of the text in there. And there's no folders either. So it's not meant to be sort of a more detailed place for your notes. And then here it is on a mobile interface. As you can see, it's a lot more simplified, but you can see some of these in action. There's different pages on the left-hand side. And then you can do like a checklist in the middle. And there's more detailed reports on the right-hand side. And you can always put links to stuff in there, links to web pages. But as you can see, it's a pretty Spartan, simple interface. But if that works for you and you're heavily invested in the Google ecosystem, it might just be the app for you. So next we get onto Microsoft OneNote. While I have this as like a browser-based option, there's a ton of versions of OneNote that you can access almost anywhere. So besides the browser and besides accessing it through Microsoft Outlook email, You can access it on your Windows PC as a desktop program. It's an app that you can use that you can download from the App Store and use on your Apple devices, on Android, on basically any type of computing device under the sun. So in Microsoft OneNote, it's a very detailed app. You can create a lot of different notebooks, which have their own pages and things like that in there. So you can also make just a list. You can put in images, and it also lets you dictate for, like basically, I think that there's a really cool text to or speech to text option where if you have a microphone on your device, you can basically dictate to the app and then it will record what you say into text. So that's a really awesome feature. And another cool feature they have is the freeform placement of text, drawings, and attachments. So not all of these note-taking apps have this feature, but basically you can put text anywhere on this page. You can put you can start drawing something and making annotations and just draw over your text anywhere on the page. And you can put in attachments, whether that's pictures or videos or audio files anywhere on the page. And I think that's a very underrated feature. So OneNote is more like a scrapbook than it is like just a regular text document or notebook. And I think that's one of the standout features. And also, it's available almost anywhere you can think of. And another cool part is that the free version includes all of the features. All of the features are available whether you're paying or not. I believe their paid option just increases your storage space. So like with Apple Notes, with Microsoft OneNote, if you use it for free, you get 5 GB of free storage, I believe. And so you can increase that amount of storage with the paid tiers. But otherwise, it's a really good option to start off with because the features are very versatile and it's accessible on almost any device you have. And one other thing is this OneNote's been around since 2003. And so Microsoft has kept evolving the program and adding new features. So I think it's got a pretty good track record for being further supported down the line. So here's accessing OneNote through the Outlook interface. So basically on the upper right-hand side, you can see that there's an icon for OneNote that you can just click on, and you can access that through the Outlook interface. So you can also put in tasks and calendar to make to-dos in your OneNote as well. Okay, and this is the OneNote app as seen from a mobile screen. So as you can see, it's a more simplified version. It doesn't have as many features visible, but you can do pretty much anything you can do on a desktop or browser version on your app as well. So next we'll go to preloaded apps in smartphones or tablets. So if you use Android or an Apple device, whether that's like iOS or iPad OS, there are preloaded apps that are pretty good. So for Android devices, they mostly have Google Keep pre-installed. So, I just went over Google Keep. It's a good bridge between Gmail and Google Docs, but as a standalone note app, it's perfectly fine for simple note taking. And then there's notes in the Apple app as well. So those are the 2 icons there. And then I'm going to go over Notes a bit. So Notes is integrated with iCloud. So all your notes are saved to iCloud. just like all of the Google Keep notes are saved to Google Drive. Um, so for iCloud, you can definitely have different notes or different folders for your notes. And then you can also have different pages in those folders as well. Again, this is a pretty simple interface. You can just put in text, you can put in links. There isn't a lot of like the free form placement that OneNote has. But as a note-taking app, it's perfectly viable for text-based notes and images and things like that as well. Okay. Now that being said, there are a lot of note-taking apps that are out there. And I just wanted to cover a couple of them. This isn't the end-all be-all list. There are a lot of other options out there, but the four that I wanted to cover are Simple Notes, Evernote, Trello, and Notion. And these are all accessible on mobile devices as a desktop app or in a desktop web browser. So you can use them on both mobile and desktop as well. So these are more dedicated note-taking apps. So again, some of the aforementioned apps like Google Keep or Apple Notes, they're great note-taking options, but they're pretty simple. They're kind of akin to just a notepad or a sticky notes option. So excellent for recording ideas quickly, maybe with some simple sorting and alarm reminders, but a bit limited in terms of more advanced features that some of these apps do have. The following note-taking apps, they have some perks like included storage and also advanced search features and word processing features and functions. Okay, so first we go to Simple Note. Simple Note, it's owned by Automattic, which also runs WordPress.com and Tumblr. So if you use those, if you're a fan of those programs, Simple Note might be for you. It's a good option for anyone who doesn't need all that, like all those features. So this is pretty straightforward synced note-taking app that's cross-platform and free. And it also includes collaboration options as well. So it's good for like notes and lists. And they also have things like tags. So you can add different tags to your notes and also pinning as well. So as you can see on the screenshot there, there's two notes that are pinned to the top. So again, that's kind of like if you use Outlook Mail, then you might be familiar with the pinning feature where you can keep important emails or notes at the top of your list, no matter what. For Simple Note, however, only text notes are supported. So there's no images or recording video memos. You can use some, let's see. So, and again, there are no formatting or styling options for the text. So it's similar to Google Keep. But this app is made for people who focus best on the simple and straightforward. So again, if you believe less is more, Simple Note might be worth a look for you. And here's its in the app form. So before, here's the browser form, and then here's the app form. So as you can see, there's pinned notes. You can do the lists, the check marks, but again, it's fairly simple. All right, so next we get to the literal elephant in the room, Evernote. So Evernote has been around for a while. So it's a lot of things. It's a notepad, to-do list, and a planner, and it's available almost anywhere you can think of. It's available on the browser, as a desktop app, and a mobile app. However, so there is a lot of functionality in the Evernote app. However, a lot of this functionality is hidden behind a paywall. So that being said, it's not the best fit for everyone, but it does have a lot of different features. So it is shareable. You can put in shortcuts to notes. You can do task lists, notes, and there's also like a scratchpad function where you can basically have a notepad within your notes app. However, like it's gotten its fair share of criticism over the years for not including a lot of features in the free version. So again, if you're using the free version, you can only sync between 2 devices at a time, which is kind of a bummer if you like to work across multiple devices. And also, the storage that it provides in the free version is also very minuscule. I believe it's something like 60 megabytes per month. So, you know, if you like full featured notes and you're willing to put a premium on that, I'd say Evernote is awesome. But if you're just looking to try it out or just sticking with free, probably something else would be better. But if you need the best and the most capable note-taking app, Evernote, the paid version, would probably be up there. So again, as you can see in the browser, there's a ton of options. It's a very detailed interface with a lot of different features. And also in the app as well, in the note-taking app, as you can see, you've got lists. You can share it with other people. There's a scratchpad feature, and then you can do like images, audio, documents, web clips as well with Evernote. Yeah, it's pretty detailed, but again, it's not for everyone. Then there's Trello. So kind of included Trello on this list because while it is a notepad, it's more of a task management app. So again, if you're working with a team of people, if you like collaborating with a lot of people across your notes, then Trello might be an option because at its heart, it's task management software first, and but it's also got pretty good notepad and note-taking features as well. So again, it's available on a browser. It's available as a desktop app and a mobile app. Again, you can only sync to 2 devices at a time, but they also include a lot of cool stuff like they have tables, they have calendars that you can share between members of the team. There's labels, and there's a lot of collaborative tools as well. So they have different boards that that you can work on with different team members. And then those boards are basically giant notepads for you to write things and post things on. So again, if you take a look, there's a lot of like to-do lists that you can use, which really helps for collaboration, especially if you're working with multiple people. And the interface has a lot of different features that you can have. So you can add things like you can add different members to it. You can add different labels. You can add different checklists, dates, and attachments, a ton of stuff that you can put into on each board or note. And the same holds true for their mobile app as well. Again, all the lists and stuff, they're all prevalent in the mobile app. So it's something to consider if you collaborate a lot with different teams of people. Again, so this is the mobile interface. If you open one of those tasks up, you can see you can add start dates and end dates. You can add different color labels, and you can add different notes in there as well. Okay, and our final app is Notion. So Notion is a notepad, to-do list, and task management software. And again, it's available on your browser as a desktop app and mobile app. It's got quite a bit of features. It's got tables, it's got calendars, labels, tags, the ability to share and collaborate, and a lot of other available templates. Um, so you can also think of this one as a hybrid note-taking app and task manager. I think this Notion is also pretty good for if you're working with multiple tasks, or if you're working with different teams of people. However, it's got a lot of like different icons and images. So the interface is pretty, let's say, cluttered, I'd say, more than some of the other interfaces. Um, so as you can see, it's got a lot of different features as well. So you can make lists, you can make events, and as you can see, you can put in tables. So it's got a lot of stuff going for it. And this is how it looks in a mobile app as well. So again, you can have multiple different workbooks with different pages and notes in there. All right, and then see, you can also put in like things like your presentation. You know, here's a couple pages of the current presentation put into the app. So you know, it's just some ideas of what you can do to of what you can actually put into these note-taking apps. You can do a lot of stuff with a lot of these apps because they support putting in images, putting in audio files. So, you know, pretty much the sky's the limit, and it's up to your personal preference and what you want to do with these note-taking apps. Okay, so that's a lot of apps to go through. Again, if you have any questions about any of the stuff I covered, you can definitely post them in the chat Q&A. But if you think of something afterwards, you can always just speak to a librarian at a library. Call up your local library to ask for information. You can text LA County Library Reference Services. Again, Monday through Friday, 12 to 6. You can email us or chat with us, again, Monday through Friday, 12 to 6 as well. So that being said, now's the time to post sort of your questions or comments, but I also want to find out, based on the list that I put here, do you want to try a new note-taking app, and what? I'm just curious to see what you would want um, to try. And with that being said, if you have any questions, please go ahead and post them right now, way through the Q&A and the chat as well. So let's move on to the Q&A and chat. iPhone Notes app. Okay. Okay, so I see that there's one. Okay, so can't copy from chat. Um, That's weird that that you can't copy any text that I posted in the chat. But if you can't do that, I'll also be sending a follow-up email, and that will include a link to the recording of this presentation along with the PowerPoint slides, um, as well as links to our websites and also to our upcoming programs as well. So if you can't copy from the chat, just be on the lookout for this follow-up email. It'll have all the information from this program for you to watch at your leisure. Okay, so first question. One of your early slides showed some paper notebooks with sketchnote style notes. What digital note-taking tools would be good for doing sketch notes? Um, so sketch notes. So I would assume that's actually using a pen and paper and drawing out notes. And for that, if you're just trying it out, I would recommend Microsoft OneNote because, like I said, it's there. All of their features are available in the free version, and it's very scrapbooky, in my opinion. So basically, you can start if you have a stylus, and your screen supports touch, then you can just start drawing on at any point on the page. It's very, very similar to just drawing on an actual piece of paper. So definitely recommend OneNote if you're using like a stylus enabled device, like a Surface device, or if you have an iPad with with an iPencil or something like that. Okay, so could you please explain what is tags and pins? Um, sure. So for tags and pins, um, if you pin something onto your interface, let me kind of go back and show you the screenshot with the pins. Some of these apps, as well as um, email clients like Outlook support pins. So as you can see in the middle screenshot here, there are pins on two of the notes at the top. So for Explore note-taking apps and for things to do. And you can see that little push pin icon next to them. And if you pin something, that means it will stay at the top no matter what. So for important reminders or things like that, you can always pin something and have that stay at the top where you can always see it immediately when you open your app. And then if you have tags for something, that means you're having tags on the note itself. And let's see if I can find tags um, for some of these notes. So if you tag something, there's like a small either color or a label that appears on the notes that can help you differentiate important notes from each other. So okay, yeah, kind of like here on this Trello, there's different color tags which help you kind of differentiate maybe the importance of a document or the category of a document. Okay, next question. I use Samsung Notes. Do you know if I can print my notes or copy paste to my email? Um, yeah, I believe you can definitely copy paste whatever text you have in there uh, to to another text editor like your email. You can definitely do that. And I believe most notes functions do have a print option where you can either convert that to maybe a PDF or just straight up print it as a text file. And if everything else fails, you can always just copy paste that note. You copy paste everything in there and paste it onto like Microsoft Word or Google Docs, and then just print it from there. So yeah, there's a lot of workarounds if you can't just straight up print a note. Uh, Next question. Hi, I missed the first 10 minutes of this. Which note-taking app did you use for your presentation? So I actually just used Microsoft PowerPoint for this presentation, but I tried out a lot of different apps as well. So if you missed the first 10 minutes of this, or if you missed the first, if you missed any part of it, this recording will be posted on YouTube, and you will be receiving a follow-up email with a link to our YouTube video. Next question. How can you sync OneNote on your smartphone to your laptop? So in the OneNote interface, so actually, if you are already logged in with the same Outlook account or the same Microsoft account, if you use your default settings, they should sync. However, if they don't, I'll include more specifics in my follow-up email, which will be sent to you guys within a few days. All right, so I will include that in I'll include that in the follow-up email. So okay, so let's see, done. Next question. For Evernote and Trello, it's free for 2 devices. Would the desktop count as 1 device? I believe if you have the desktop app installed, like if you downloaded the program and installed it on your desktop, that would count as 1 device. If you're accessing it from a browser, it might not count on the hard cap for a device. But yeah, if you install the program before you use it, then it should count for that account. Next question. I'm writing a book, so I need organization for pictures, audio, and documentation. It seems like OneNote would be most flexible to hit the ground running. Any thoughts? Yeah, I would definitely say OneNote has the most features, and it can handle pictures, audio, and charts as well. So, yeah, I think OneNote would probably be adequate for your needs. Next question. What app do you recommend for taking minutes at meetings? So I would say any of these apps are good for taking minutes at meetings. If you're planning on collaborating with other people and maybe sharing it with other people, maybe one of the more collaboration focused ones like Trello, or maybe one of the more collaboration or focused ones like Trello or Notion would be more suitable. But if you're just taking the minutes and you're just going to share it on like a PDF or a Word document afterwards, there's nothing stopping you from copying and pasting to another document afterwards. So these are all excellent note-taking apps for taking minutes at meetings. Which would you suggest for recipes? Gosh, they all work pretty well for recipes because they have lists, and some of them have tables. If you want a more detailed recipe, more than just like lists, then I'd probably suggest like OneNote or Apple Notes if you're using an Apple device, or even Google Keep, because they can all handle images as well. So if you want to take pictures of the recipe at various stages of completion, I'd suggest using something that can handle images as well as text. Let's see, another recipe one. So what apps would you recommend for college students? Well, again, it depends on your note taking, but if you have a stylus, like a Surface Pen or an Apple Pencil, OneNote is pretty awesome because you can just freeform write on any point of the screen. and yeah, it's very versatile. So I think if you're just trying out the apps, OneNote might fit your bill. Next question. Do most of these also work on iPad? Yes. They do have the app versions for all of these on iPad. So if you can't find it pre-installed, you can find it on the App Store. Next question. Converting writing notes to digitized, what program can do that? Handwriting recognition? So a lot of these apps have are able to convert writing notes to digitized text. Especially if you just take a picture of those writing notes. A lot of these apps, including Evernote, including OneNote, even Apple Notes, and Google Keep. If you have text in an image, a lot of them can recognize that text and allow you to copy and paste them to digitize, to to convert that text into digital text. So basically, for all of these, if you just insert that picture and then try to copy and paste from that picture, it should be able to do that. Next question. It seems that over time with the iPhone Note app, that there's a time limit on your phone keeping the note. I've tried to find a note on my Notes app and was unsuccessful. That's interesting. I don't think I've encountered that. I do use an iPhone myself, and I do use Apple Notes. Um, I've all of my notes are still there as far as I know. Maybe that's due to your iCloud storage space. Because if you run out of iCloud storage space, then Apple might have deleted it. But I'm not sure. Maybe check your settings and also your iCloud storage space to see if there's enough space to keep the notes. Next question. I feel simple notes will be better for me to start because I'm not very familiar with apps. What do you recommend? Um, well, you could definitely try any of the apps that I have in the presentation. But I think the best bet is if you have something pre-installed, like if you have Google Keep on your Android device, or if you have Apple Notes on your Apple device, I'd start there just to play around with it, get a feel for it. And then just try, for example, OneNote, and then just try all those options to see which one fits you best. But yeah, simple note. Again, it's in the name. It's a very simple interface. So it's very easy to pick up and play. Okay. Oh, another person saying they use notes and reminders on their iPhone. Yeah, excellent. I use that too. It's they're very good apps. Next question. As far as simple note taking, what is the difference between iNotes and Simple Notes? Also, in using notes, is it possible to use pencil to underline, etc.? So for simple note taking, there isn't that much of a difference between all of these apps. If you're just using text, if you're typing on a keyboard, or if you're typing on your phone's virtual keyboard, these apps will fit the bill 99% of the time. There isn't much difference between simple notes. The difference is in their features, which is like, does it support images? Does it support audio clips? Does it support drawing? Just simple drawing and highlighting and annotating on the document itself. And that's where the apps differentiate themselves from each other. And for the using notes, is it possible to use pencil to underline? Let me take a look at that. That's interesting. I don't have an Apple Pencil, so I've not used that with the Notes app. let's see. So yeah, it looks like with iOS 14 and later, you can write with your Apple Pencil in any text field, um, in Notes and other apps as well. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely use an Apple Pencil in iNotes. Next question. Are there other popular apps you recommend that you didn't review today? Um, let's see, not particularly. I think I covered most of the options that would do well for notes for the majority of people. Again, I would recommend either Google Keep or Apple Notes if you're using one or the other in the ecosystems. If you're using Android or Apple. And also, I totally recommend trying out OneNote. I feel that kind of hits the sweet spot in terms of features and being accessible, um, because it's available on almost any device, and all of the features are available without being behind a paywall. Okay. Next question. How secure are my notes for privacy purposes using any of these applications? That's a really good question to consider because sometimes your notes might contain personal information. Um, that is something I'll have to take a look at. Uh, let's see. So so it looks like both Google Keep and Apple Notes, they do encrypt their notes. And I assume if they do that, um, if those pre-installed apps do that, I would assume um, the other ones do that as well. But I'm not 100% sure for the other apps. But yeah, it would be something to look into if you do use those notes for more sensitive information. Okay, next question. To help families keep organized, is there an app you recommend for both task management and to-do lists? Something user-friendly so that kids can use it. Um, well, I I'll say that I have used Trello for work-related purposes before. I found that pretty easy to pick up and use. Your mileage may vary, especially if you have younger kids. Um, so I would say choose an option that everybody can work with. Um, whether that's maybe a shared notes on, let's say, um, on say iNotes or an app or a OneNote, a shared collaborative OneNote document. Um, like I said, these note-taking apps are very, very personal, so everybody would have different opinions. But you know, if you want to try something that I've tried before and works, Trello or OneNote would probably be good places to start with. Um, let's see. This is perhaps beside the point, but was something that you mentioned. Can you please explain rich text format? This option is usually listed among other options as a choice. I never know what these options mean. Well, so rich text format, um, basically, it's sort of like a file format that allows people to exchange text files between different word processing programs. So it basically lets you add a lot of different types of formatting features to your text. Like you can change the size, you can change the font. Like say you want something in Arial, or you want something in Comic Sans, um, or you want something in Calibri. So the ability to do that means that program supports rich text format, because otherwise the text will just appear as the default text on your system, and you can't change the font or the size or anything like that. So that's pretty much what rich text format refers to whenever you see it as like a feature or option. Next question, can you make notes secure or password protected? Some of these apps do offer like password protection, while some of them don't. It depends on their features. So let's see. So I think most of the notes, like say on your Apple Notes, those can be locked and password protected. Let's see if Google Keep. So, and it looks like Google Keep does not allow you to protect notes with passwords or fingerprints. So I think that's more reliant on your overall Google password security. Let me see for Microsoft OneNote. And for OneNote, you can password protect notes as well. So it looks like Apple Notes and Microsoft OneNote, you can secure those notes with a password. But for Google Keep, it does not have a password protect feature for specific notes. Next question. Do you have a favorite or suggested note-taking app that allows for WikiLink style linked notes? I've heard TiddlyWiki does this, and OneNote has a hampered version of this. Let's see. WikiLink style linked notes. So it would basically just kind of be like linking through hyperlinks, right? So basically it's just I'm not too sure what the WikiLink style is. Oh, interesting. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look into the WikiLink style notes. Um, that's interesting. Thanks for bringing that up. I'll see if I can include something about that in the follow-up email. Next question. As far as simple note-taking, what is the difference between iNotes and simple notes? Also, in using iNotes, is it possible to use pencil to underline, etc.? Okay. So as far as simple note taking, the difference between iNotes and simple notes, it's pretty much the same thing. Whatever you type in the note is saved, and you can refer back to that whenever you open that app again. The core difference between iNotes and simple notes is if you are already using an Apple device, then you will have iNotes pre-installed on your device. And so it's easier to use. You don't need to install anything else. And it syncs better across iCloud accounts. Simple Notes is a separate app. So it's not created by Apple. It's just in the App Store. You can download that to use it. But if you don't have Simple Notes on another Apple device, then it won't sync across the device. So pretty much the only difference between iNotes and Simple Notes is iNotes is already available on Apple devices and isn't available on non-Apple devices. And then for iNotes, yes, you can use an Apple Pencil to mark up the notes. Let's see. Oh, looks like. Okay, so next question. Are Outlook and Apple Notes encrypted in the cloud, or are there privacy considerations for any of these? Yeah, I would assume that that Outlook and Apple Notes are encrypted. Like they'll have the same level of security, let's say, as any other document in iCloud or in OneDrive, for Microsoft's case. So I believe that they have the same level of protection as anything else that you would put into a cloud account for Apple or Microsoft. And then, like I said, you can also password protect those files as well. Okay, next question. What app would be recommended for seniors? I recommend just trying out the apps and seeing which one you're comfortable with using. But if you have an Android device, start with Google Keep. If you have an Apple device, start with the Apple Notes. They're both very simple and very easy to pick up and use. Okay, can any of these apps highlight text? So yes, most of these apps can. The ones with rich text formatting can. So definitely Microsoft OneNote, Evernote, and any of the ones with rich text format. I do not believe that Google Keep can highlight, um, and I don't think Simple Note is able to, but most of the other ones can definitely highlight. All right, next question. I purchased Microsoft 365 with all the programs, PowerPoint, etc. However, OneNote was not included. Any advice? So OneNote should have been included with Microsoft 365. It's part of that bundle, but you can, if you're using a Windows device, especially if it's Windows 10 or 11, you can just check to see if OneNote is already installed on your computer. And if it isn't, you can definitely just download the app separately to use it because it is free and all the features are available. All right. However, if OneNote wasn't included in Microsoft 365, if you have Outlook as part of that package, I believe you can just access OneNote through Outlook. Just refer to you can search for how to do that online or refer to the screenshots on the presentation when it's sent to you through the follow-up email. All right. Next question. Will there be a recording of this session? Yes, there will be a recording and it will be posted to YouTube and the link will be emailed to you. Next question. I use Apple Notes and appreciate being able to use the Apple Pencil. Does Apple Pencil work with Google Keep? That's also a good question. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know if Google Keep will support it, but if you use the Apple Pencil on your iPad, you could definitely just download Google Keep and just try it out there. That's the best way to test it out. Yeah, if you have your iPad or iPhone, just download Google Keep and try it out. Next question. I only have a flip phone. Will any of the suggested apps work? Oh, that is a tough one. If your flip phone can access one of the app stores or app marketplaces, one of those apps might be able to work. And this is only because I'm thinking like your flip phone might be like a Samsung Flip or something like that. If you have just like a regular flip phone without a touchscreen, I don't think so, unless you can access one of the app stores. Next question. Thoughts about apps that might link to Alexa so you can add to a to-do list? Hmm. Um, I I don't have an Amazon device, so I I haven't tried it with either Alexa or Siri or anything like that. Um, so maybe I will include something. If I find something, I'll include something about linking to voice-based assistants for note-taking apps on the follow-up email. Next question. Okay, yeah. For somebody who asked about Samsung Notes before, they Googled it and found a detailed video tutorial for Samsung Notes. So yeah, if you want to know more about how one of these notes work, there's a lot of YouTube tutorials for each of these programs that will kind of explain more in depth about each of them and their features. So yeah, definitely recommend going on YouTube and looking for those videos as well because they have really good step-by-step tutorials. Next question, will the Q&A be posted in the follow-up? Um, not the whole Q&A, but for specific questions that are a bit more detailed, I'll usually include answers to some of those in the follow-up email. Next question. App suggestions that can be used to take notes during Zoom sessions like today while working concurrently on an electronic device. Um, so if you're doing like a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams meeting, you can always have an app that's open in another tab, like tab at split screen, to take notes while you're working. Um, you know, I've always recommend OneNote. Um, for me personally, I have Apple Notes open right now, and I'm using that to record to record interesting questions from the Q&A that I plan to address in the follow-up email. So I would say almost any note-taking app is fine as long as you're just doing doing text-based notes. Okay, I already answered that. Next question. I missed a part of the presentation. Is the session being recorded and can it be reviewed later? Yes, the recording will be posted to YouTube and the link will be sent in a follow-up email. Um, let's see, next question. After submitting question, is it possible to delete it if I realize I don't need it answered after all? Yeah, I believe so. You you can always just there should be the three dots on the upper right corner of a question, and then I believe you can always withdraw that question. Um, let's see. Um, Follow-up question. Purchased Microsoft 365. OneNote was not included. Do I have to download it separately on my iPhone? Um, yeah, you can definitely do that. Because OneNote is a free program anyway. Um, it's okay if it wasn't included in the Microsoft 365 app that you purchased. Um, yeah, you could definitely just download it separately on your device and start using it. Um, for the presentation, is it available for review? Yes, you'll be able to review the slides and also the recording, which will be sent in the follow-up email. So this whole recording, everything that was said, you definitely review that. Okay, next question. Do you know which setting affects writing a note in Notes? Apple Note assumes you're trying to write a specific word and it corrects to that word. Very frustrating. Like the other day, I tried to input the product OOFOS in my notes, but I had a hard time getting it to spell it OOFOS as it kept changing to a more common word. Thoughts? Ah, yes, that is the dreaded autocorrect feature on many, many different devices. And I can say, I feel you. Autocorrect has has done me dirty on many an occasion as well. So what you want to do for turning off autocorrect is to go to settings, um, turning off autocorrect. Um, so to do that, you would go to settings, to general, and then to keyboard on either your iPhone or your iPad. And then you can turn off autocorrect to stop that correcting feature, because yeah, it is totally super annoying. Especially when it writes something maybe totally off from what you were trying to say. So again, settings, general, keyboard, and then turn off the autocorrect option. Okay, so it looks like that's it for the Q&A. Let me take a look at the chat to see if there were any other questions that were put there. If you have any more questions, put them in the Q&A, and let's see what's up. Okay, so what does browser-based mean? So browser-based just basically means that you can sign in and access it as on a web page. So it's convenient if you don't have your device with you. Let's say you're using it on another device, you can just go on Google Chrome or Firefox or Edge and just sign in and get access to your notes. So it's just like a convenient feature. Next question. Does MS OneNote require using Outlook? So no, you don't need to be using Outlook to be able to use OneNote. You can just download OneNote as a standalone program and use it separate. Next question. Where on Outlook is OneNote located? So if you're on the Outlook interface, it should be in the top right section. If it's not, you can always just open up the Microsoft 365 tab and you'll be able to access OneNote from there. Okay. Let's see. Does Google Keep have audio voice to text option? I don't think so, because it's a very simplified interface. Next question, what's the definition of an interface? So an interface is basically the layout of the app that you can interact with. It's like kind of like the layout of the buttons, of the interactive elements, and of how you receive the information. Next question, will we be shown how to actually take a note? This is where I'm having a problem. Let's see. So there are quite a few tutorials online. So for using one of these programs, I don't have them all installed on my current device right now. So you can just search like how to use, let's say like Evernote, how to use OneNote. And there will be detailed tutorials online on how to use it. Okay. Next question. Okay, so how do I sync iPad OneNote with work desktop OneNote? Okay, so to sync your iPad OneNote with your work desktop OneNote, the important thing is to make sure you're logged on with the same account. And if you are, then it should automatically sync between the two notes. If you're logged into different accounts, That's a little trickier. You might have to kind of share, you might have to share that page between the both accounts so that both accounts can work on it. I think that's the workaround you'd have to go through. And a second question, what are your thoughts on Notability? I haven't used it, so I can't comment on it. Let's see, oh, this is an interesting comment. Microsoft support for OneNote is ending in October 2025. I'm gonna take a look into that. Oh, okay. So the OneNote app in the Microsoft Store that you can download as a program on your PC will reach end of support in 2025. So basically what that means, it's the OneNote for Windows 10 will reach end of support in 2025. So basically, if you're still using OneNote for Windows 10, just make sure to migrate over to OneNote on Microsoft 365 because Microsoft wants everybody to use their cloud-based um, uh, Office apps. That's pretty much what Microsoft is doing. Okay, so next question. Um, let's see. Did you spend time on Apple Notes? Yeah, if you missed the part with Apple Notes, again, the recording and the recording will be emailed to you in the follow-up email. Next question. Do you know which apps are secure and don't use the data? And which ones let you export your data to other apps? Um, so which apps are secure and don't use data? Well, it's hard to say because a lot of I think it depends on if they say that install it, if you're installing it from an app store. But most of these Note apps are also encrypted. So like, for example, the Apple ones and the Microsoft ones, and I assume the Google Keep, whatever notes you have on their cloud-based services have the same level of protection as your other documents on their cloud-based services. There are some apps, like, for example, I believe Evernote and maybe Notion, they allow you to import note-taking data from other apps. So some of these make it easier to switch apps as well. Let's see, next question. What's a simple Excel type table for budgeting purposes? So if you want like a simple Excel type table, but you don't want to use Excel, then probably like Google Sheets or Apple Numbers. Um, those are decent Excel equivalents that possess much of the same functionality. Next question, do you like Notability? I have no comment on that. I haven't used it. So unfortunately, I can't say whether I like it or not. Let's see. Next question. Can we access other LA County Library Zoom classes on YouTube as well? Yes. Everything's posted on our YouTube page. Let me post a link to that. Just give me 1 second and I will post a link to our YouTube page. Here are our digital literacy programs. Just copy that. Okay, so here's a link. Oh, thank you. Just want to thank you so much for all of these webinars on technology by the library. Oh, thank you very much. We do try to be knowledgeable and prepared for our for our for our audience. So thank you so much for that kind comment. Let's see, not related to note taking, but how do I sign out of my Gmail account? It says go to photo in upper right, but when I do, there is no prompt to log out. So on the upper right for Gmail, the photo, it's either a photo in a circle, or if you don't have a photo, it'll just be your initials. And then you click on that circle with your initials, and then there should be a menu that opens, and then you'll be able to log out of your Gmail or sign out of your Gmail. Yeah. Let's see. There's a question about okay, let's see. And I have somebody asking, can you take the time to demonstrate OneNote? Okay, so let me fire up OneNote and do a very quick look at their interface. All right, so let me share my screen. And there we go. Okay, so this is Microsoft OneNote. When I open it, this is the interface I see on my desktop. And keep in mind, this is OneNote on my Mac, on my Mac OS interface. So basically, at the top, it's very similar to any Microsoft Office, like Microsoft Word. So again, you can choose your font, you can choose your size, you can have all that like bold, italics, underlines, you can do headings. But then here's your OneNote. So this is your notebook. So interface, and then you have different pages here. Okay. And so as you can see, they embedded this video, or see. So they do have a tutorial for you to follow. So, take notes anywhere on the page, write your name here. So see, if I click anywhere on this page, the text cursor goes where I go. So as you can see, I'm gonna type in my name here and just click there. So again, it's very easy to just type anywhere you want. Okay. And to add pages, you can always just click add page here, and that's another page. And then you can just title that my new page, and then, start typing here. Okay. And then there's sections in this journal as well. So if I add another section, as you can see, you can have a lot of different sections and pages for each section as well. So think of it like chapters in a book. So again, this is an actual journal. These are sections, and then these are individual pages within those sections. Okay. So again, if you open OneNote for the first time, they have a really cool tutorial. You can just start scrolling through this tutorial and they have everything here. You can add sections for activities, add pages inside of each section. And then they have videos that they link to that you can click on to watch. So there's definitely a lot to do when you first open up OneNote. However, if you feel like, okay, I already know how to do this, I want to get rid of it, it's easy to do that as well. You can just right click and then you can just delete it, or you can cut and copy paste. Everything's available here, but yeah, you can just delete it. It'll be gone. If you regret doing that, you know, it's just undo. Okay. So yeah, what I recommend, just play around with whatever app you want. Try it out. There's lots of different tutorials. On OneNote, the tutorials in the pages already, so you can follow it. For other apps, you can find tutorials on, for example, YouTube or just across the internet as well. Let's see. Okay. So that looks like about it. Oh, and for for the audience member who can't log out of their Gmail, can probably find a step-by-step instruction how to do that, maybe on YouTube. So it'll show you exactly how to do that. All right, so let me take a look at the Q&A. Okay, so somebody posted a link to OneNote. Okay, sure. I will post that on. Okay, next question. Is OneNote available for Apple device? Do you have to purchase the app? So OneNote is absolutely available for Apple devices. Like I just showed you guys. I was just using OneNote on my MacBook, and it works fine. And you do not have to purchase the app. It is available for free. All right. Thank you so much for your kind comments. How can I save my old OneNote files? Uninstall OneNote and start fresh. Oh, I think that depends on how many files you have and why you would want to start fresh. So to save your OneNote files, you can export them. Um, you can export them as different as different formats. So you can pretty much save like export OneNote files as PDFs. You can copy and paste everything to a text document or a Word document. See. So looks like I'm having trouble accessing that search right now, but I will try to include that in the follow-up email on how to save old OneNote files for a fresh install. Because I do know sometimes that happens. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have. Okay, so if you have any more questions, now's the time. Let me see what I have in the chat. Um, okay, so I see a request for library to have how-to classes for PowerPoint, Excel, and Word. All right, I will pass that on to, yeah, I'll pass that on. Okay. Um, Gosh, for the Google account, that's hmm. So for the Google account, if you're using it on your Android phone, um, to log out of Gmail. For the question on for the Google accounts, I'm not exactly sure how to answer that, because I can't, see what's going on your device. Um, I think you could try, if you're able, to bring it like to a library or maybe to like a Best Buy. Yeah, they have Geek Squad as well. Um, you you'll probably be able to get better help there because just over the chat it's very hard to correctly diagnose your problem and to see where it is to log out. Um, Next question, where is Google Keep on Google Mail? So again, Google Keep should be available um, if you find the icon on either the left or the right-handed side along the edge. Um, Again, let me share screen of the presentation. If you're on your Gmail, uh, there's the keep icon right there. If it's already there, great. If it's not, you can always add it using the plus button there and just add it on from Google Marketplace. Okay. Um, all right. So that's it. Then thank you very much for attending. You've been a great audience as always, and I always look forward to interacting with you guys at these programs. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you at the next digital literacy program. Have a good day.